Lesson 132. I lose the world from all I thought it was. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. I am Judith and you're at the Lucid Mind Center. I'm glad you're here. We're going to read this Course in Miracles lesson together, and at the end I'm going to suggest a class, a Qigong class for you, which is going to be specifically suitable to do this lesson. As we're reading this lesson, we're going to contemplate this together, see what comes up. I will not edit things out. So whatever comes to me that I shall be saying to you is going to stay within the video. Probably if I would edit the video, I probably would censor it out, but I just simply don't have time for this. And I have made a decision to record at least one of those classes per day during 2024. So let's see what comes up. Before we start, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so more Course in Miracles students can find me. And also let me know what you reckon about those contemplations. What is your view on it? And let me know if you've got any kind of questions which you would like me to deepen or give you my 2 cents to it. Let's begin. Lesson 132. I lose the world from all I thought it was. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself with a capital S? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. So it's very quickly, I just want to talk with you about the word belief, or what believing actually means. When you're saying, I believe in something, it means that you do not know it. Because when you know something, you do not need to believe. This is a fact for you. So when you say, I believe in this, that means that you do not know whatever that means. I'm just talking about the term. So what we really want to get to is that we know something. Because when we know something, believing becomes obsolete, because you just know that this is what there is, or this is what it is. Like you know where your kitchen is. It's not like you believe your kitchen is there. No, you know your kitchen is wherever it is. And you could probably walk to wherever you are standing. You could walk there blindly because you just simply know that it is there. And it's very interesting, it says it here, that belief is so incredibly strong. So your thoughts about believing, or what you believe it is here or there, or what the motives are just as strong as the truth. So sometimes maybe we should question our beliefs. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think or ever thought or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeing what you do not want to find. The present now remains the only time. And it is the only time there is. Here in the present is all the world set free. For as you let the past be lifted and release the future from your ancient fears, you find escape and give it to the world. You have enslaved the world with all your fears, with doubts and miseries, your pain and tears, and all your sorrow. Press upon it and keep it a prisoner to your beliefs. Let me just repeat this here again. You have enslaved the world. You have enslaved. I have enslaved the world. We have enslaved the world with all our fears, with doubts and miseries. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thought of death within your mind. If you would actually think that there is no death, that there is only transformation, we wouldn't react the same way, we wouldn't live our world that way. But first somebody has to change this belief and then make it a fact. Somebody has to kind of aim for changing the belief. Like somebody once upon a time put it in their mind that the whole world needs to be alphabetized. Everybody needs to be able to read and write. And then from that one thought, the whole world finally came to the conclusion, well, this is the best way forward. Everybody needs to be able to read and write. So everybody needs to be able to read and write as well, understand that there is no death as such, because we live eternally already. There's nothing special we need to do for that. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thought of death within your mind. The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning. So the world is whatever meaning you give it. And what you behold upon it are your wishes acted out, so you look on them and think them real. Perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth, you found exactly what you looked for when you came. There is no world apart from what you wish. And herein lies your ultimate release. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. I think this is an amazing sentence. This is definitely something I'm going to have to ponder on, and I'm going to manifest that into my world. Change but your mind on what you want to see. Change your mind, what you actually want to see. And all the world must change accordingly. And it is really like that, because when I am in a negative train of thought, suddenly things appear to be negative. But if I stop it there, and this is what I have learned through the Course in Miracles, when I stop my train of thought, I'm not going to think that way. I refuse to do it. Then things do change in the way that I become more happy as I am letting go and say, okay, if that's what's going to happen, I'm going to be good with it, because it's just whatever I'm going to lose is just something of the world. I'm not actually going to lose anything. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text and must be borne in mind if you would understand the lesson for today. It is not pride which tells you that you made the world you see, and that it changes as you change your mind. But it is pride that argues you have come into a world quite separate from yourself, impervious to what you think, and quite apart from what your chance to think it is. I lose the world from all I thought it was. This is our lesson today. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return and go still farther, and perhaps step back a while and then return again. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. I'm just going to have to unpack this quickly so we understand what we're talking about. In reality, there is no world is also because in reality there is no body. We don't have a we don't really have a body because there is really not a world. Is because our reality and our truth is totally abstract. Now, not everybody can grasp that. And many people just misunderstand it, and many people just kind of blab it after other people. The world is an illusion and all this kind of stuff. But it's not about when you are caught in this reality, and if you cannot think outside of the box, then to say that there is no body or you don't have a body, that is extremely bizarre and it is probably extremely threatening. So if you come with these kind of threatening statements to people, you're not going to go nowhere. You're not going to reach them. This is not the way to reach them, nor is it your place to argue with their understanding. It is rather seeing the light within them and trusting your source, trusting your higher self, your higher consciousness, kind of connecting within to your higher consciousness, and then ask this higher consciousness to say what they need to hear. And when you do that, quite often you're not going to hear anything from your higher consciousness because there is nothing you can say which is going to change your mind. And that's why you should not supposed to say anything and not force it. So the world we see has got the meaning we have given it. So the first step is to change your mind about what you want to see. This is the first step. And once you have understood this particular mechanism, then you can go the next step and understand or realize that there is no world. Because if there is no body, there is no world. There are no bodies. There are no bodies in this universe. There are no bodies. There is no planets, and there is no bodies on the planets. And there is really a kind of reality which is totally abstract. We have also understood this in quantum physics. We have understood that everything is kind of creating and disappearing. It's like a pulsations. It's like a frequency. There's constantly appearance and disappearance, appearance and disappearance. And what is happening with our senses, because the way they have built, it looks to us as if everything is constant, as if everything is steadily present. And it's absolutely fascinating that when you fall asleep in the night and you wake up in the morning, the images you see are exactly the same as the day you left it, the night, or as you left it the night before. So there is no world, yes. But it's the understanding of this to realize that the world, that the reality of who we truly are is totally abstract. It is that consciousness, it's that thought, the thoughts you have, and that mind, that entity which is having those thoughts. This is who we truly are. All of us. Totally abstract. Totally ungraspable, really, with our mind, kind of. So, there is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. It's very, very philosophical. And it's not, and we often have a total level confusion there. Because in this particular level which we are, in this particular reality of the world, there is a world. And there is a lot of misery in this world. And to heal this, you have to acknowledge it first. You have to acknowledge that there is this particular level where we want to wake everybody up and return back to another level. So, but then we have to acknowledge that it's there. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can let himself be led along the road to truth. And that's why when we are talking to people and we have grasped that concept that there is no world, we cannot just go and say, well, there is no world. I don't understand what you were upset about. This is not going to help nobody. Rather, if you don't know what to say, use your central channel, get back into reality, and then ask, what should I say to this person? What should I do? So maybe they can come along with me on that road to truth. You see? He will return and go still farther, or perhaps he will return and go still further, or perhaps step back a while and then return again. It means somebody will come along and then it will go away again, and then it might come with you, and you yourself might go away and come back. We're all doing it. We're all doing it. We are coming back, and then we think this whole book here, I don't know what it is all about, and then we come back to it and we read it again, and then we do the course one more time until it becomes reality, until it becomes our truth. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. That means they can accept this lesson in this particular instant. It's because their life on this earth as a human, in this human experience, this is a whole line of many instants. And we are forgetting that we could kind of return into this eternal instant. So we are constantly thinking about future and past and now, and we are constantly jumping in between that instead of actually returning into this now. And I'm the worst of this. I have got so many things to do all the time that I'm missing half of my life because I'm constantly planning something else for the future instead of actually being in the now. That's why I like reading those lessons with you, because it brings me back into this now. When I'm reading this with you, I am present. And that's why I love it. I love it so much. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. And this is very, very important. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. When somebody wants to understand it, he will understand it. There will come a way which is going to make him understand one way or the other. Some see it suddenly on point of death. This is the near-death experiences, and rise to teach it. So when a person has a near-death experience or an out-of-body experience that is so incredibly fascinating to them, when they return back, they suddenly want to change the world. They want to teach everybody because it's such a deep understanding. They see something which is beyond this world. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Others find it in experience that is not of this world, like, for example, an out-of-body experience or some transcendental thing, or astral travel, or there is many different ways we can explain that. Maybe they see angels or something, which shows them that the world does not exist, because what they behold must be the truth. Because whatever they have seen or what they have experienced, they realize that this is more of a truth than whatever they actually see here with their senses. And yet it clearly contradicts the world. It also can be an extraordinarily love experience. You know, maybe somebody is living in a country where it's where people are very fundamentalistic, where people are living by the rules which are made by man, and then maybe they realize, well, this cannot be right. These rules, they are man-made. I actually cannot follow this no more. This can be a revelation in itself. And some will find it in this course and in the exercises that we do today. Today's idea is true because the world does not exist. I lose the world from all I thought it was. And if indeed your own imagining, and if it is indeed your own imagining, then you can lose it from all things you ever thought it was by merely changing all the thoughts that gave it these appearances. The sick are healed as you let go all thoughts of sickness, and the dead arise when you let thoughts of life replace all thoughts you have ever held of death. A lesson earlier repeated once must now be stressed again, for it contains the firm foundation for today's idea. You are as God created you. This is an important idea to understand. We are as God created us. And we are one. We are just momentarily believing for one reason or another that we are in this body. I think I'm Judith and you think whoever you are. But as a matter of fact, we are, as God created it, we are one on the level of consciousness, and we have just got a momentary lapse of memory. We can't remember it for some strange reason. There is no place where you can suffer and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. You see, and that eternal state we find as we are sinking back into the depth of ourselves, as we are sinking back deep into that peace and love which is within us. You are as God created you. There is no place where you can suffer and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. How can a world of time and place exist if you remain as God created you? What is the lesson for today except another way of saying that to know yourself, your true self, is the salvation of the world? Is that you remember who you truly are. To free the world from every kind of pain is but to change your mind about yourself. There is no world apart from your idea, because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world with your mind in thought. And this is some heavy stuff. That means the world you are seeing, I mean, this is very philosophical here now. That means the world, when you open up your eyes and you look around it, the world you're seeing is a result of your expectation of what you want to see. Let's read that again. There is no world apart from your ideas, because ideas leave not their source. Means all the ideas we have about this world are within our mind. And because of the ideas we have in our mind, we are perceiving what we want to perceive. Remember that projection field? Remember that torus, as I always say, this energy field we have around us? The way I see it is that we are projecting our world on the inner field of that torus, on this inner field of this, on the inner wall of this energy field. And we are walking around with that energy field all the time. So the world looks real to us because we are so focused on our senses, so focused on our physical senses. I always call it the sixth sense. That is what we have to focus on our central channel, on our connection to heaven and earth, and on this, on what is beyond our field. And the way to connect beyond that field is through that central channel. It's getting past that field of perception or of illusion. There is no world apart from your ideas, because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world with your mind in thought. So we are seeing the world because it's within our mind, so we are projecting it into this field, into this energy field. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. Let's unpack this one. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. And that means that we are in the mind of God. We are never left, because we are God's thought, and thoughts leave not their source. So we are in the mind of God, and within our mind is this world. So if we want to change the world, we have to connect to our source again. We have to remember that we are a thought of God. Very, very philosophical. Probably confuse you more. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. Are these inherent in the world you see? That is the question. So let me just repeat this again. Does it create like him? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all. So the question here is, you are as God created you. You cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. That means, are these inherent in the world you see? That means, do you see timelessness and love in your world? Is that what you're seeing? Because if you don't see timelessness and love in your world, and if you do not remember that you are the child of God, if you do not remember that you're the light of the world, then you are not seeing the real world. Are these inherent? Are love and timelessness inherent in the world you see? Does this world create like him? Like that love, that light within you? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all real. If you are real, the world you see is false, for God's creation is unlike the world in every way. You see? And as it was his thought by which you were created, so it is your thoughts which made it and must set it free. So it was our thoughts which have created this world. It is my thoughts which have created this world. And it is your thoughts, it's our thoughts which must set this world free. So it depends on us, depends on me, that you may know the thoughts with a capital T you share with God. Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. This is heavy stuff. Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood. So we become the creator, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares his fatherhood with you who are his son, for he makes no distinctions in what is himself and what is still himself. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end, the Son begin, or something separate from him. And this is what the universe is. The universe is everywhere. Our galaxy is within the universe, and our solar system is within our galaxy, and our sun is within is kind of the center of our solar system, and our planet is turning around our sun. And this is our world in this. But we are always in the universe. We are always within the eternity. We just can't grasp it. It's so incredibly big, but we are always within it. So we are always within God. There is no world because it is a thought apart from God and made to separate the Father and the Son and break away a part of God himself and thus destroy his wholeness. Because God shares his fatherhood with you who are his son, for he makes no distinctions in what is himself and what is still himself. God is everywhere. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end, the Son begin as something separate from him. That means that you are always within God and God is within you. God is everywhere. So this, if you want to replace this word God, the word God with love, love is everywhere. Or you want to replace it with light, then you can say light is everywhere. You see? There is no world because it is a thought apart from love, from God, and made to separate the Father and the Son and break away a part of God himself, to break away apart from that light. You know, in that pocket of darkness, we talked a few lessons ago, where we are looking inside and we are convincing ourselves there is darkness. It doesn't really exist because this is just turning ourselves away from light. There is no world because it is a thought apart from God and made to separate the Father and the Son and break away a part of God himself and thus destroy his wholeness. Can a world which comes from this idea be real? Can it be anywhere? Deny illusions, but accept the truth. Deny you are a shadow briefly laid upon a dying world. Release your mind and you will look upon a world released. Today our purpose is to free the world from all the idle thoughts we ever held about it and about all living things we see upon it. They cannot be there no more than we. For we are in the home our Father set for us along with them. And we who are as he created us would lose the world from this day from every one of our illusions, that we may be free. Begin the 15-minute periods in which you practice twice today with this. I, who remains as God created me, would lose the world from all I thought it was, for I am real because the world is not. And I would know my own reality. Then, merely rest, alert but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed so that the world is freed along with you. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well to the ones you see nearby as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. Let's repeat the phrase. I, who remain as God created me, would lose the world from all I thought it was, for I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. You want to know your own reality as an extension of this creator, as an extension of this light, as an extension of this love. That's who you truly are. That's who I truly am. That's who we truly are. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby, as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. When we do the Qigong class, imagine that you are spreading the light all around the world, but spreading the awareness all around it. envelop the world in that awareness. It's just a thought, it's just an idea. It's just an idea to clear the world of the madness. But you will sense your own release, although you may not fully understand as yet that you could never be released alone, because we all have to be released together. Throughout the day, increase the freedom sent through your ideas to all the world, and say, whenever you are tempted to deny the power of your simple change of mind, say, I lose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. So do not underestimate your thoughts. Do not underestimate your thoughts from minute to minute, from instant to instant. Every time you think of light, every time you spread the light, every time you become aware that you are something more than what you have thought, you light up the world a little more. So we're going to do 15-minute practice periods today, and we're going to do it twice today. And what we are supposed to contemplate during those 15-minute practice periods is this: I, who remains as God created me, would lose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. And those phrases become very, very interesting if you actually try to grasp what they mean. And that's why those 15-minute practice periods are so powerful, because you kind of sink into it and you kind of say, okay, I need to understand this. And Qigong can help us. Qigong can help you and me to get into this center of our being and receive the message from our higher self of what this actually means in words which are understandable to us. So for this particular practice period, I'm suggesting this 15-minute class to you seated, this 15-minute class of a moving meditation, and here you have got the whole list of classes where you maybe can choose a 30-minute meditation if you prefer, and remembering this idea. Let me know how it goes for you. Love, light, and chi to you.